Hey, what's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about Floyd Mayweather. I don't think we have to explain who that is. Today I was going to go over through his career. I went a few years back, and what I wanted to really do is go through like Ring Magazine and look at what were the mandatory, or not mandatory, but I guess the rankings, who was rated at what per year when he fought. And so I came up with a little bit of data, and a lot of it looks like he never fought who he was ranked number one at the time. I'll start off in 2015, Manny Pacquiao, which I'm going to give him credit for either fighting people that he was supposed to that were ranked number one, and this is because he's 50-0. If you're going to brag about a 50-0 record, I think it's weightless if you haven't fought the very best, or who you should have been fighting, which would have been the number one, number two. And so if you're not doing that, and because they boxers call it a sport, you're supposed to be fighting one, two, or three. So if they're not fighting one or two, I'm gonna not give them credit for the win. So in 15 we got Manny Pacquiao. He won that by decision. He's a natural welterweight, so he should have won that. He was running around clinching. It went to decision. That at best is the draw, so I'm not going to really give it to him. They gave him a win, but that wasn't impressive on either side, to be honest, whether it be Manny. And to be honest, Brooke was up next, and Brooke, Khan, or Bradley. So gets no credit for the Manny decision, because he didn't win. It wasn't a stoppage. They decided to go to points, and we all know that's manipulated. Brooke, when he fought Berto in 15, Brooke was mandatory. Second was Manny, so he could have fought Manny in 2015, before the Manny Pacquiao fight. Khan and Bradley was also an option. He decided to fight Berto, so he doesn't get the win. Berto wasn't even in any type of standings in 2015. We jumped to 2014, where he fights Maidana back to back, and again Maidana's rated or ranked at number 9. And first in line was Manny Pacquiao, second was Brooke, 3 Khan, and Bradley at 4th. So again, he doesn't get any credit for that one. Now we go over into 2013, where we have him fighting Guerrero. And in 2013, person up next was Bradley, Marquez, and Manny at 3. And then up next would have been Brooke. So he didn't fight any of those guys. Decided would go to Guerrero, the big, tall, slow guy. No one was excited about seeing that fight. He would say in a lot of his videos, it says it's about my health, not fighting the very best competition, fighting the best people, anyone that's a good fighter and that deserves the fight and the money. So now we go to Cotto in 2012. I think Floyd was number 1, but he's fighting. It wouldn't fight himself. That would have been Marquez up next at number 2, and then it would have been Guerrero at 3. So he would have fought. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Guerrero at 3, Manny at 4, and Brooke at 5. So that's not okay. And so we go to, and for 2012, We got Marquez at number 1, Guerrero at number 2 or 3, and then Manny Pacquiao. So I guess Guerrero was right there, but he was the weakest link. That was in 2012, I believe. And in 2011, we have him fighting Ortiz. The number 1 ranking fighter was Manny Pacquiao. Number 2 was Floyd, and 3 was Ortiz that year. But this was for a different weight class, I believe, because originally I had Ortiz ranked at 11. So I don't remember what weight class that was at. So I think I made a mistake on there. But either way, Ortiz was nowhere near close to a competitor for Manny to be. For Floyd to be fighting. So I don't give him a credit on that one. Mosley, 2010. Even though that was an interesting fight to see because of the names, in 2010, the highest ranking opponent would have been Manny Pacquiao. 2 was Floyd, 3 Andre Berto, and Cotto at 4, Mosley at 5. So he fought number 5. In 2009, he fought Marquez, who was ranked at number 8 in 2009, and number 1 ranking fighter was Manny Pacquiao, 2 Mosley, Cotto at 3, and Claudia at 4. So again, no credit for that one. Hatton, 07. Originally, I don't know if I mentioned before, but I didn't give him credit for Hatton. And Hatton stayed up there in the rankings, man. So I'm going to give him a credit for that one, because I went through all the rankings for several years, and Hatton has been up there in the rankings. But for that year, I think it was Cotto, Williams, Mosley, and Margarito. But this was for the junior division. So it wasn't welterweight. It was junior welterweight. So I made a mistake on the who were the mandatories on that weight class. I think I just went to welterweight for 07, the one that I just gave out. But for 06, Judah, that year, the number 1 ranking fighter was Margarito, so he did avoid him. Baldomir, number 2, Cotto for number 3, and Judah at number 4. So he chose to pick the number 4 ranking fighter. So if you see it's kind of hard to give someone credit for these fights when they're not ranked number 1. And with him being ranked or being self-proclaimed best fighter of the generation. In 05, Gotti, and this is a junior weight, a welterweight. The mandatory should have been Margarito, 2 Spinks, Mosley, and Collazo. And so he fought number 7. But I think Gotti may have been rated number 1 or in the top 3 and the junior welterweight. So that's where I started getting confused, because I didn't know what weight classes he was fighting at. So I had to do a lot of research, and it turned out to be quite a task. But what I did notice was that based off of the competition, he would jump down or up to fight the easiest fighter. So Gotti was ranked like number 7 in welterweight, but he could be ranked number 1, 2, or 3 in junior. That's why I saw Indu also ranked really, or not even in the rankings, at number 8. But then I saw junior welterweight, and I saw him within the top 5. So let's see. We can go to Gotti. Gotti at rank number 7. In 05, he ended number 1 ranking fighter was Margarito, 2 Spinks, 3 Mosley, and 4 Collazo. And then Corley in 04, and they fought at junior, and he avoided welterweight again. He avoided welterweight because of the fighters there. So you had Judah around there in 04, but he decided to fight him in 06. Again, he was cherry picking because he was trying to fight people that were there was the junior welter. It looks like the junior welterweight was a weak division, so he decided to fight the champions there, and that's where he gets his record of fighting most champions. But it's not just Floyd; it's other people that have been in the in boxing that have done that as well. So today we're just talking about Floyd, but let's see. Corley, didn't know if I said, yeah, the rank number 7. He fought him at junior. No credit for that one. And Du, rank number 8. Didn't give him credit for that one. Castillo, in 02, he fought him twice, and I do give him credit for that one because he was ranked number 1, number 2. Within those, he was like, he was up there. So that's a legitimate one. Corrales 01, he wasn't ranked. I didn't see him ranked anywhere. I don't know if I'm mistaken, but I didn't see him ranked anywhere. Brussels 05, I didn't see him ranked anywhere. Baldemir, he was ranked number 2. So I guess I can give him credit for that, but he was ranked number 2. He was ranked number 2, I think, in junior. And so again, I'm talking about he's jumping up and down weight classes based off of who's champ. If that's what I noticed. If there's a guy, at first I started getting confused and I thought he was fighting just bums. But if someone was junior and they were champion in junior, then he'd go fight him. Because I started seeing these last names that were not ranked in welterweight, and they ended up in junior. And so De La Hoya in 07, and De La Hoya was ranked number 3 at that time, so I'm not giving him credit for that. Also, De La Hoya was not the mandatory. That's not somebody we wanted to see him fight. Canelo, I did give him credit for that. I give him number 1 because a lot of I think it's appropriate. A lot of people say he was green, but he was also very good, so he beat him. He was also older. Floyd was still 30 something, 34 years old, something like that. And the other guy he was pretty dangerous because he was pretty strong. I mean, you could hear Canelo's thumping power. So, Floyd kind of got his face all rashed up at the end of the fight. You could kind of tell he was laying it on him. So I did give him credit for that one. But all in all, in almost 20 fights, he only fought like 4 times his who was ranked number 1. Other than that, he wasn't fighting anyone. That he was fighting everyone else, and so that's why I'm only going to give him 4 fights out of these 20. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So that's where the exaggerated record comes from. He really never fought anyone he was supposed to be fighting. And he usually jumped around like a class down, and at some point in his career to start fighting different fighters. And you see him, and I didn't even go that far down, but like Manuel Augustus, he wasn't ranked. He wasn't the top ranked fighter. I know one of the Castillo fights, he wasn't even. One of the Castillo fights, he didn't even win the first one. So there you have it. I hope you like the information I came up with, and please like and subscribe. or don't if you don't like the info. That's it.